All right, so this is the Unit 1 review sheet. I'm going to do the entire thing, so no excuses about not knowing how to do a problem or if I never answered a question. You could watch this whole thing if you want, or if you just had like a question on a few of the problems, just skip ahead, find where I'm doing those problems, and listen. I'm going to go a little fast, but you can pause and rewind and rewatch it. And then if you still have questions, please email me or come into class and ask me. If you want an answer right away, you have to email mrzuckerbrow@gmail.com, all one word. If you email that one, I'll answer. If you email Pupil Path or my school email, I won't get it till the next day. All right, number 1, we have an equation, variables on both sides. First thing we have to do is knock out these parentheses by doing a distributive property. 4x minus 40 equals 4x plus 15. You look for the smaller variable, but since they're both the same, it doesn't matter which one you use. Get rid of it by doing inverse operation. So we can see that on both sides of the equal sign, the variables are gone. What does that leave us with? Negative 40 equals 15. When you have two numbers that are not equal to each other, that tells you that there is no solution. If you got 0 equals 55 or negative 55 equals 0, those are also fine, and it's the same no solution as your answer. So if you got one of those, that's fine. Just know that when you get two numbers that are not equal, that means no solution. So the next one, there's two ways to do it, so I'll show you both ways. The first way is just to distribute the fraction, which this one's easy because of the numbers that are here. 3 over 4 times 4x, the 4's cancel out, so you're just left with 3x. And then 3 over 4 times negative 8 is minus 6 equals 24. Add 6 to both sides. 3x equals 30. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 10. One solution. You don't always have to write this. It depends on what the question is. So just make sure that you're answering the question. If the question is solve for x, then x equals 10 is your answer. If the answer is how many solutions are there, then you need to write one solution. The other way you could have done this is to get rid of the fraction right away. So it was 3 over 4 times 4x minus 8 equals 24. You could have multiplied both sides by 4. On the left-hand side, that gets rid of the fraction. So then you have 3 times 4x minus 8 equals 24 times 4, which is 96. So then you can just solve normally, and you'll get an answer. For number 3 and 4, just got to answer these questions. Which pair of angles are vertical? So vertical angles are formed by intersecting lines and are opposite each other or across from each other. So 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 5 and 8, 6 and 7. Which pair are corresponding? Corresponding means that they're in the same position or location. So if you go in the top section, right on the middle, look at number 1. Number 1 is in the top left. Then we look at the bottom angles. Which one's in the top left? Number 5. So that means that number 1 and number 5 are corresponding. 2 and 6, 3 and 7, 4 and 8. So these 4 angles, you can just shift down to these 4 angles and just match them up. So that's it for the first page. Oh no, sorry, which pair are alternate interior? So the 4 interior angles are the ones that are between the parallel lines. So here's my parallel lines, and here are the 4 angles that are inside them or between them, or the interior ones, however you want to think about it. So the alternate interior ones are going to be the interior angles that are diagonally across from each other, so 3 and 6, 4 and 5. And then the alternate exterior is the same concept, 1 and 8, 2 and 7. All right, number 5, Gym A charges a yearly fee of $100 plus $10 a month. Charge B charges a yearly fee of $50 plus $15 a month. After how many months is the cost the same? So the same, they want to know when they're equal. So this is just solving an equation with variables on both sides. Look for the smaller variable and get rid of it by doing the opposite. So minus 10m or 10x from both sides. 100 equals 50 plus 5m. Minus 50 from both sides. 50 equals 5m. Divide both sides by 5. M equals 10 months. Number 6, we have a triangle, we have an exterior angle. So there's a lot of different ways you can do that. I'll do it a few different ways. The first thing I notice is that this 120-degree angle right here and this angle X together form a straight line, and straight lines equal 180. So I know that these two angles are supplementary. 180 minus 120 equals X. So I know that X equals 60 degrees. And once you have that X is 60, you can figure out the missing angle of the triangle. Triangles add up to 180. Subtract the angles that we know, which is 60 and 70, which is 130, leaving us with 50 degrees. So Y equals 50. The other way you could have done it is you know that an exterior angle equals the sum of the two non-adjacent angles. So you could have known that 120 equals 70 plus Y. So Y would have been 50, and then figured out X from there. In the next one, in number 7, I noticed that 90 and B are across from each other, and they're formed by the same two lines. Both of them are formed by these two lines, and they're exactly across from each other. So I know that B equals 90. They are known as vertical angles. So we know it's easy to spot vertical angles when we're just dealing with an X, so something like that. But when you're dealing with more angles like here, more lines I mean, then you still have vertical angles, you just got to find them. So 90 and B are vertical, 1 and 2 are vertical, and then 3 and 4 are vertical. Number 8, a car service fee of $10 plus $2 per mile. And the other one is, you paid $35 total. So $10 initial fee, $2 per mile, total of $35. Figure out how many miles you went, subtract 10 from both sides. 2m equals 25. Divide both sides by 2. And m equals 12.5. Number 9, just an equation. Remember, if there's parentheses in an equation, you need to get rid of them first. So we're going to use the distributive property 2 times. 5x plus 50 plus 10x minus 20 equals 45. When you have a whole bunch of junk going on the same side like we do here, just find the like terms and combine them. So 5x and 10x is 15x. 50 minus 20 is a positive 30 equals 45. Minus 30 from both sides. 15x equals 15. Divide both sides by 15. X equals 1. Number 10. So there's it says angle B is 53 degrees. I like to write it right on the diagram. I noticed that A and B together form a right angle, or 90 degrees. Remember, this is known as complementary if they ask for some kind of explanation. So I know that A plus B equals 90. That's all that means. So if I do 90 minus 53, that gives me 37 degrees. So A equals 37 degrees. Number 11, which best describes the solution to. So right away, I know my answer needs to be like one solution, infinitely many, or no solutions, because the question says which best describes the solution, unless the choice says x equals and gives you the answer. Look at the question, look at the choices. It'll give you a hint of what to do. On the left side, I see some like terms. 3x plus 11 equals, like terms on the right side, 3x plus 11. So if this is multiple choice, you could stop right now. Both of the sides are exactly the same, so we know there's infinitely many solutions, but if this is not, you need to show work. Minus 3x from both sides 11 equals 11. That means there are infinitely many solutions. Number 12, the measure of angle 8 is 83. What is the measure of angle 2? Well, it's also 83 because they are exterior angles. I mean, alternate exterior angles. That's 83. That's 83. So we know those four are all 83. Some people have been doing this in class where they put their pen on 8, draw a diagonal line to 6 because they are equal, draw a diagonal line to 4 because those are equal, and then a diagonal line to 2 because those are equal. So these are the four angles that are equal to each other. So the answer is 83 degrees. Remember, in this kind of situation, ask yourself, are the angles congruent? If the answer is yes, then they're equal to each other. If the answer is no, then they're supplementary to each other. So remember that when we get later in certain types of questions. Here's that type of question. Number 13, the measure of angle 1 is 4x plus 12. That's right here. And the measure of angle 8 is 12x plus 4. So the first thing you should ask yourself, are they congruent? Well, let's see. Angle 1 is an acute angle. Angle 8 is an acute angle. So are they congruent? Yes. If the answer was no, then they're supplementary. What's another way we know that they're congruent? 1 and 8 are alternate exterior angles. So that makes them congruent. So let's set up an equation. 4x plus 12 equals 12x plus 4 because they are congruent, they are equal. Minus 4x from both sides. 12 equals 8x plus 4 minus 4 from both sides. 8 equals 8x. Divide both sides by 8. X equals 1. So the question says to solve for the missing angles. So 1 is not our final answer. You need to take the 1 and substitute it back into each expression. So 4 times 1 plus 12 is 16 degrees. 12 times 1 plus 4 is also 16 degrees, so we're good. And if they ask for the other angles, like angle 6, for example, 180 minus 16 is 164. Number 14, solve for the missing variable. So I know we see a fraction and we don't like it and we're freaking out, but let's take it step by step. Whenever we see something like this, if it said 3x plus 8 equals 14, the first thing you would do is get rid of the plus 8. So that's where we're going to start anyway. We're going to get rid of the plus 8. So we do minus 8, 3 over 4x equals 6. Now, you have calculators, so if you want to, you can divide both sides by 3 over 4, and your calculator will give you the answer, as long as you know how to do fractions. Now, if you don't like doing that, you can try to get rid of the denominator first. So the denominator is a 4, so multiply both sides by 4, and you're left with 3x equals 24. Then divide both sides by 3, and you get x equals 8. On the right-hand side, nothing different, just decimals. So I see that this and this, the terms that both have an x in it, are on the same side of the equation. If you want to like draw a line, you can see that, okay, oh look, they're on the same side. Let me combine like terms. Negative 3.2x plus 4.2x is 1x. They're just x plus 12 equals 16 minus 12 from both sides. X equals 4. All right, number 16, this should look familiar because we did it in class. The two triangles are similar. So right away, similar tells us two facts. It tells us that corresponding angles are equal. That's the first thing it tells us. And the second thing it tells us is corresponding sides are proportional. If you want to write that down, pause the video and write it down because I'm about to erase it. So when I see that two shapes or two triangles are similar, I automatically know that corresponding angles are equal and corresponding sides are proportional. So let me get rid of these definitions because they're in the way. Okay, so it says which is not true. So let's look at the proportions first. Let's look here. It says BC over YZ. So let's see if they match that up correctly. BC is the diagonal side, YZ is the diagonal side, so that's good. Equals BA over YX. BA is the vertical side, YX is the vertical side, so that's good. So this proportion is true. BC over YZ, again, that's diagonal, diagonal, so that's good. BA over XZ, so that's the vertical side and the horizontal side. Those sides don't match up. Those are not corresponding sides. So this is not true. For the angles, we know that this angle and this angle correspond to each other because they're in the same location. So since they're in the same location, they're equal. So this is 60, so this is 60, so this is true. Now I know I'm going to get questions about the triangle. This shouldn't be 20, this should be 30 degrees. That won't happen on the test, so don't worry about it. All right, next question. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle XYZ because two pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. That's good. That's called the angle-angle similarity theorem. Which of the following does not help prove that the triangles are similar? Z and C are both 60. That does help us because they're the same. Y and B are both 20. If that was true, that would help us. We have to change that number. Y and C are 60. Well, I look at that. Y is not 60 degrees. So that's wrong, so that doesn't help us. So that's actually the answer. And then number 18, one angle of a triangle measures 45, a second angle measures 84. 45 plus 84 plus whatever the third angle is, all have to add up to 180 because the three angles in a triangle add up to 180. So I'm just going to skip right to the answer because I don't feel like showing the work, but you can. So these add up to 129. 180 minus 129 is 51 degrees. Number 19, another equation we're solving. Let's get rid of the parentheses first by distributing. So if you're one of those people who still looks at equations and doesn't know where to start, the parentheses are always a good place to start. Negative 12x minus 4 plus 6x equals 6x plus 2. Negative 12x plus 6x, I see some like terms on the same side. Remember, if you need to draw a line down to like see the two sides, do it. So they're on the same side. So I'll combine like terms. I'll get negative 6x minus 4 equals 6x plus 2. Add 6x to both sides because this is a negative 6x. And I get negative 4 equals 12x plus 2. Subtract 2 from both sides. I'm running out of room here. I get 12x equals negative 6. Divide both sides by 12. X equals negative 1/2. All right, I need to redo that problem because I made a mistake. The first step was good. I distributed, and then I combined like terms. All that was good. Negative 6x minus 4 equals 6x plus 2. What I forgot to do was get the variables on the same side of the equation. Never mind, I did it right. Go back, rewind the video, watch that part again. I did the whole thing correctly. It's x equals negative 1/2. I guess I had a momentary, what do you kids call it? A brain lapse? No, I know that's not what you call it, but I'm not going to say it because then you'll use it against me. That's the correct answer. If you need to rewatch it, rewatch it. Otherwise, come in and ask me because I might have confused myself as well. Number 20, find angle x. Well, these two angles together form a straight line. That makes them supplementary. Remember that an exterior angle and the interior angle that are right next to each other in a triangle add up to 180. 180 minus 112, 68 degrees. Number 21, measure of angle 1 is 68. I know this figure looks weird, but it's really not that bad. The measure of angle 3 is 65. Find the measure of angle 2. Well, angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. They are directly across from each other, so they are equal. So angle 2 is also 68 degrees. Find the measure of angle 4. Well, we know what angle 5 is based on what angle 2 is, because we know that alternate interior angles are equal. So if this is 68, then this is also 68 because P and Q are parallel. So we know that angle 5 is 68 degrees, and then we can figure out angle 4 because these three angles together make up a triangle. So we know that this is 68 degrees. 68 plus 65 is 133. 180 minus 133 is 47 degrees. Number 22. Another boring question comparing two companies. Get it? Because you guys have been doing this, and if you tell me you still don't know how to do it, then keep doing them. Company A charges $30 plus $4 a month. Company B charges $60 plus $2 a month. Find when they cost the same. Set them equal. Solve. M equals 15. Or X equals 15, whatever you choose to use. Number 23, find angles Z, Y, and X. So, a lot of things we can do here. The first thing I notice is that these three angles together, Z, the right angle, and that angle together, form a straight line. So they have to add up to 150. So 180. Z plus 90 plus X equals 180. We know that Z and the 90 together is 130. They give you that. That's right here. So 130 plus X equals 180. X equals 50 degrees. So that's one of the things we can do first. Or we could have started somewhere else. I noticed that Z and the right angle here are 130. So that means 90 plus Z equals 130. So that means that Z equals 40 degrees. So now we got another one out of the way. And I noticed that X and Y are vertical angles. So Y equals 50 degrees because vertical angles are equal. And now the last type of questions, there's going to be 5 equations on the test. Here's just one. You're expected to solve it and then say how many solutions it has. So we have variables on both sides. We're going to minus 5n from both sides. They cancel out. 9 equals -1. None. No solutions. You need to write something like that. You need to show all your work. If you ended up with 10 equals 0 or 0 equals -10, those are both fine also. So any of these 3 answers. That's it. Come in with questions. Email me. I know I went really fast, but this is just for you in case you were stuck. I'm not going to spend an hour on this. So email me. Come in with questions. If you're in 810, 804, test is on Thursday. 809, test on Friday. I don't know what I'm going to do with that quiz yet. We'll see. All right. Good luck. You all should do great. We've been preparing. Just be confident.